Oh man. Bionic 6, RoboCop, Sailor Moon, Captain Planet, Captain N, Brian Bondurant, Shield, Tales of the Brian Bondurant Show. Uh oh, got to record because I just had a thought and it's like I had to throw it out there. You shouldn't argue with your coworkers if at all possible. You shouldn't argue with your coworkers because if you argue with your coworkers, then you become them. What does that mean, Bond? If you argue with your coworkers, then you become them. It's like this that the thing they used to have in the back of the office where it said, if you argue with a crazy person, the people watching, observing, won't know which one of you is crazy. It's like this. You don't argue with your coworkers because what do you call somebody who criticized Prince? A critic. A person who criticized Prince, the artist, was called a critic. You can't argue with Prince and become a musician. But if you argue with your coworkers, then you become a fool. If they're fools and you argue with them, then you were up here and you came down to this level to argue with them. They can't do what you do. So anybody who criticized Prince was a critic. And he was an artist and a genius. He didn't argue with critics because they can't do what he does. So there's that. That's why you don't argue with your coworkers because they're not on your level. Okay. The other thing, I am going to redo the movie outline for Duck Girl and Crane. Now, originally, when I was doing the books, I was doing Duck Girl and Crane animated books, and then I was doing Duck Girl animated, and I was doing like Duck Girl, and the second movie is going to be called Duck Girl and Crane, and then whatever. Then I changed it to the first movie's Duck Girl. The second movie's Duck Girl and Crane go to college, like the old Vern movie, the Vern goes to camp and all that. Those movies. But Crane, even though that's the national bird of Japan and that's why she dresses like that, Crane is, of course, part of Chinese folklore and legends. So there's the Crane Iron series, the Iron Crane pentology. So what I'm going to do is, excluding Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, because I'm not that arrogant. I'm gonna use the basic stories for. Well, hell, the first story is titled Crane Startles Kunlun. So for me, that's just Crane. The story's just called Crane. And then like the Ang Lee Hulk. And then the second movie was The Incredible Hulk. Or Sam Raimi did Spider-Man. And then there was The Amazing Spider-Man. So we're doing Crane. And then we're doing The Graceful Crane. And in between that is Duck Girl. So you got Crane, Duck Girl, Graceful Crane. Duck Girl and Crane go to college. Blah, blah, blah. So Crane is in the title of the first story. Then we do the second one. I'm not going to say the title. You look it up. Then we're doing Sword Force. Sword Force. Because in the 90s, everything was a force. X-Force, Cyber Force. It's all about forces. And then we're just going to do something else. We're not going to do a remake of Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. That'd be crazy. And then... and then, so basically I'm going to weave the Crane stories in with the Duck Girl stories, movie plots. And then we'll just call it Duck Girl and Crane, the Duck Girl and Crane saga. Of course, Soundman takes place before that. But that's another thing. That's going to be another, because I already published the Bond saga of like 12 movies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And the first top half of 8 movies are the prequel movies that take place way in the back in the past. And then Soundman's 4 movies are the 80s. And then Duck Girl's the 90s. So I got to rework it so that Duck Girl and Crane's overlap. I was almost going to call this the Crane verse, like the Arrow verse, but it's like, I was thinking about it. The difference between, like, let's say you do 4 Duck Girl movies, and you do the 4 Soundman movies. Soundman has sidekicks. Soundman has the roadies and the best boys, and then the girls. I can't remember the damn. I had to choose a Spanish name for what the girls are called. I can't remember right now. But yeah, there's the roadies, the best boys, and then the girls. You know, the last roadie is a girl because there's 3 of them, and she's like a nod to spoiler. So he has the sidekicks, and then Duck Girl and Crane, they're equal, even though Duck Girl's mythological, like Wonder Woman, and Crane is Japanese Batman. So they're equal, of equal importance. So that's what makes it different. The two of those two superhero setups. Okay, I'm gonna get back to writing this. Then I'm gonna finish the. I drew the Sword Force logo today. I'm gonna. Oh, I gotta get my note over there. But I'm gonna put a Chinese restaurant window, or like one of those windows like you saw on maybe Avatar, which is the Earth Kingdom. That's based on China anyway. So like the circular window. I was thinking about the Hobbit for 2 seconds, but no, we're doing Celtic font and Kung Fu font. So since we're doing Celtic font and Kung Fu font, then we got to do a circular window that looks like it's from a Chinese restaurant. That's going to be one of the O's. The other O I already drew it and it looks great. So you guys will see after I post it. So I'm going to get back to writing this outline over, and then I'm going to do it in Photoshop. Probably not today, but I'm going to get it done, and then it'll be posted also. So it's going to be called the Duck Girl and Crane Saga from now on. And Soundman is still Soundman Saga, because he rotates his sidekicks out like Batman, so they don't get to, share the spotlight for too long. Okay.